Witches are probably the most dominant troop at Town Hall 9, and you do not need a lot of planning or skill to make them work. Let's get right into this. Now, first of all, you can take out any Town Hall 9 base with witches, okay? But that does not mean that there aren't multiple ways to use them, okay? As far as the steps here, you do have to pick a side to enter, right? And you're going to use some wizards, and if you have them, and some witches to cut off the corners on either side of the side you want to enter in, making your funnel. Then, of course, you're going to deploy your tanks, witches, heroes, and bowlers in that order. And then if you have wall breakers, you'll break into the base, and you'll use either your jumps or your earthquakes to give yourself access through the base, okay? And then once you get into the base, you're going to use your rage to boost through the clan castle, and your heal to keep your witches and, more importantly, your bowlers alive in the middle. So today we're going to focus on having bowlers in the clan castle. Now, as far as how to keep your witches alive, that is where the healers and the golems come in. Now, the healers are for one reason, and that is to support your flanking witches. Those are the witches that are going to go along the outside of the base. Witches you're going to send along the outside on purpose. And then the golems are there just to keep your witches alive for the first half of the attack. Once half of the base is gone and the bowlers have had a chance to clear out the core of the base, there will not be enough DPS to keep up with the witches and their spawning skeletons. Now, just to acknowledge it, a lot of people do bring 8 to 10 giants, and this can work. It gives witches just enough time to spawn skeletons for their tanking. And you can bring anywhere from 0 to 8 wizards, depending on how many golems you're bringing. Usually when you bring golems, you want to bring more wizards just to get more DPS in the beginning. And then if you want to break into the base, you'll want to bring 4 wall breakers. If you're going to use a spell to get into the base, then you won't need those. Let's get into this replay by Oz here. And Oz is really good with witches, okay? So we'll look at the army here. We'll notice that he has a combination of the two things I mentioned, using golems to tank in the beginning or using healers to keep them alive, okay? Now, if you look at this base, all I'm going to tell you, let's go ahead and start it. And we'll see that he breaks into the base, okay? So when you stop here and look at the base, where do you think his golem is going to go? Okay? Where do you think the golem goes? Pause and try to tell me where the golem goes and where the healers go. Remember, the first step is always to cut off the corners, okay? Well, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 splash buildings over here. So he's going to use a golem over here to tank 3 of them. This wizard tower and these 2. And he'll even be able to tank that expo as well. Then he's going to use the healers over here. Now he's obviously not going to use the golem over here because that inferno is going to take it out, okay? Now keep in mind this is a Town Hall 9 against pretty advanced heroes, Town Hall 10 heroes, the inferno, high level expos, so this is definitely a tough one. And it is a little close, right? Full disclaimer, it's a little close. But we'll see he puts his king first. He puts some witches first because they're way out of range there. So he's just getting the funnel started nice and early. And then here he starts his healers because he knows they're going to be safe here, okay? Now, why would he use his healers over here? Now, remember when I said that it depends on where the air defenses are, okay? So you see how this air defense is right here? Well, the witches can reach that air defense. And that is why he decides to use the healers here. If the air defense was here, for example, then the healers would be in a little bit of trouble, okay? So we'll go ahead and hit play. And now he drops all of his witches and his wizards for some extra DPS. And you're going to notice he enters where all the splash damage is. So by the time he gets to the other side, there's just not enough. That's a good rage placement, right? It's right in front where they're going and right as the CC is about to come out. He uses the poison. I prefer freeze. But regardless, that Electro Dragon is going to go down very quickly. And here you see this flank is very strong, and that flank is going to be the key to this 3-star here. All these other troops are going to die. But all you really need for this attack to work is one flank to be really strong. Unfortunately, the golem broke out there, but as soon as this golem gets in front of these troops on this flank, then they're just going to sweep through the rest of the base. And he did only have like 10 to 20 seconds, but like I said, this is a pretty advanced, this is a Town Hall 10 with some Town Hall 10 defenses, okay? And he took it out very creatively with a mixture of healers and golems, okay? You can be creative. So now we have another attack by the same person, and this is against your more typical Town Hall 9. And this time he goes with the 4 healers there, okay? Now, keep in mind when deciding whether to use healers, whether your witches can reach the air defenses from the flanks that you send them in. So he's going to come in over here, right? That's where his entry point's going to be, and he's going to be using the 2 jumps to get him through the base, because you can use a jump around here and a jump around here to get him through the whole base. And the witches can reach this air defense as well. So the air defenses are not going to be a problem until this flank goes all the way over here, but by then it's going to be way too late. And also, if you notice here, there's not a whole lot of DPS in the middle of the base. Most of the high DPS single target defenses are near the edge, which is good for the witches, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and hit play here, and like always, you want to cut off the corners, and that's what he does here. He puts his flanks down, and he gives them a little time to cut those corners off. And at this point, pretty much the only thing that goes inside is his heroes, but again, there's not a lot of DPS in the middle. Alright, and again, whenever you see that 2 jump spells can get you through a base, this is definitely going to be a good strategy, especially when the air defenses are reachable by your witches. And I'll speed it up, and as you can see in this replay, both flanks survive and the middle survives, which is just complete overkill. So again, just remember you have to decide what tanks you need. Are you going to use golems to keep your witches alive for the first half of the raid? Or do you have flanks where you know your witches can survive? Okay, and then you also want to make sure to cut off the corners, whether you're using those healed witches on the flanks or not. Right? And then you also want to decide whether you have to wall break through the base, or whether 2 jumps or an earthquake alone is enough to get you through the base. Other than that, this is a pretty straightforward strategy, and most people are seeing way too much success with this, in my opinion. So, I hope this was helpful. If it was, please leave a like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you want to see more guides like this.